How to manifest money fast and why it's easier than you think it is. So in today's video, I'm going to try and teach you how to manifest money.
What do you mean by that?
The invisible power of thought. Money is energy. It responds to our beliefs, attention, and vibration, just as surely as the seed responds to the soil, sunlight, and water. The universe in which we live is not one of those solid matters, but one of the consciousness taking form. As Neville Goddard taught, man moves in the world that is nothing more or less than his consciousness objectified.
Relax.
To manifest more money, then, is not to chase paper, numbers, and material objects, but to align yourself to an inner state with the feeling of abundance itself. Abundance is everything. You have abundance of food, abundance of water, that is still abundance, but it's just a different way of feeling it. You can feel abundance for anything in this world. For water, the food you have, the clothes you have, the cars, you can have abundance of cars. It's the same feeling. They affirm, I want more money, yet the very feeling of wanting broadcasts of the vibration of not having it. So, the universe being a perfect mirror, so whatever you think, whatever you believe, it just broadcasts it back out to you. Continuing to return circumstances that match the inner state. So, if you have a feeling of I want more money, you're going to get more reasons to have more money. Do you know what I mean? The process becomes simple the moment you understand that manifestation is not about occurring something external, but embodying the consciousness of already having it. So you need to feel the feeling of having it, but I'm going to teach you that now. Neville Goddard, the law of assumption, reveals that reality conforms to the state that we assume to be true. To assume wealth means to think, act, feel as a wealthy person is.
Woo! More money, more money! Ah!
Now, in some distant future, the outer world is only an echo of the inner state of the cause. So, if you want to manifest money, you need to feel the feeling of having more money. When you are paying a bill, you need to be excited to pay the bill. When you go into the shop, if you see a homeless man, even if you give him 20p, 50p, 40p, it's a state of wealth. You have a lot of money, so when you embody that, you want to actually take action towards being that. If you see a homeless man, give him £1, £2, $2, whatever you can give. And doing that is a law in itself. Because you have money, you have abundance of money, that's why you're giving it out. When you assume the feeling of abundance, your subconscious mind accepts the truth as identity, and the beginning to draw circumstances, ideas, and opportunities that reflect it. The process is automatic because the consciousness is creative by nature. The great spiritual teacher, Florence Scofield, I cannot say that name right, and I know I butchered it, so my bad, but she said, no man can attract money unless he feels himself into being rich. So how do we do this? Shifting, becoming the version of you who already has it. Now let me teach you how. This is the reason why people manifest and why people don't. Identity shifting. The most powerful truth about manifestation is this. You do not attract what you want. You attract who you are.
What do you mean by that?
If you are a rich person, why are you going to try and attract money when you're already that rich person? How would you act? How would you sit? How would you talk? Where would you go to eat? What cars would you look at? What kind of properties would you look at if you had all the money in the world, or whatever you are trying to manifest? To manifest money easily, you must undergo what Neville Goddard called an inner transformation of yourself. You must assume the identity of the person who already lives in abundance, rather than the one who's striving towards it. Every belief, emotion, behavior flows naturally from the identity. If you continue to think yourself as someone who is trying to become wealthy, now listen to this again. If you keep thinking of yourself as someone who's trying to become wealthy, your vibration will always match of the frequency of trying, not being. That is manifestation in itself. Manifestation is not an act of effort, but an embodiment. The moment you become the version of yourself who possesses wealth in the imagination, emotion, and self-concept, your outer world starts to beginning to rearrange itself accordingly. So, I want to end it on this. Neville Goddard wrote, changing the concept of yourself, and you will automatically change the world that you live in. When you internalize this, you see that manifesting money is not about changing circumstances, but it's about shifting who you believe yourself to be. Ask yourself this: how would the version of me who already has a financial freedom I desire think, feel, and act today? Whenever you feel the lack of money, I want you to simply say this: how would the version of me who already has a financial freedom I desire think, feel, and act today? So, for example, you get a worry of a bill that's coming through. You just got a bill and it's, I don't know, £200. Instead of worrying about it, I want you to simply ask yourself this question: how would I feel if I had the financial freedom I desire?
The next thing you're about to see is get up out here before I come with some more in your mouth. Last scene.
And that feeling naturally comes up, and you just hold that feeling. That is all it is. Whenever you're going through like a bad moment of money, just ask yourself, how would I feel if I had abundance of money? And you can change it up. You don't have to specifically say financial freedom, because some people don't like that, and that's fine. So for example, I would say, how would I feel if I had £5,000 in my bank account? And that feeling, and that's all it is. Or you can say, how would I walk if I had £100,000 in my bank account? You will naturally start acting and being that person you want to become.
I get it now. And if you give, then it can happen. Then the miracle can happen to you.
So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Peace.